You direct the system. Very easy for me. Difficult.
couldn't believe you left that, could you, that it goes 4 o'clock today?
We're live now.
Thank you. We are now live streaming again. For the benefit of the people watching the broadcast, I formally adjourned the meeting to be resumed at 12:15 due to some technical difficulties with our live streaming program. I now formally resume the meeting at 12:16 p.m. and I thank Councillor Young for his comments. And I will.
Well, Madam Mayor, I think I should repeat the last bit because it wasn't streamed. I thank you for the good leadership you've done. Very difficult circumstances to make this council run when other councils get millions of dollars every year that we don't get to run the day-to-day operation. We get a less than 1/10 of that and we still run, and thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Young. I very much appreciate your comments. Councillor McCready.
Thank you, Mayor. Like others, I have already mentioned, I thank the staff for the extraordinary work that has gone into supporting us to make decisions. Some 40 different financial models that were developed and presented to us around the rate categories. So the primary thanks goes, as indicated, to Liz Payne, our Director of Corporate and Community, but it also, the budget charts the efforts of all the areas that the council is involved in, so necessarily involves a significant input from all directors. So I also thank Alex Woodward and Peter Porch, our directors, for other parts of the business of council. I support the Mayor's comments and others on the efforts that councillors have gone to ensure sustainability and to attempt in a limited way we have available to us to consider how we rate in the context of evaluation changes, which will see some people pay more simply because of the government valuations, which we have no control over, and some people pay less. And on that note, I guess I'd like to note council's also attempts to reduce or keep at a minimum increases to fees and charges is another way we've tried to cushion the impact of potential council costs for the community. I do note that whilst that we are 4 years in to the state directions process, and we have until now followed that in terms of what was charted around increases in budget arrangements. And congratulate council, because I wasn't part of that for all of it, on what they've done to enable us to actually diverge from that a little in reducing the amount that was predicted in the long-term management plan, financial management plan. I want to note, though, that I think, as Councillor Churchill did, that comes with the knowledge that there may be an adjustment upwards if that long-term financial plan is adhered to next year, a small one. But I guess mostly I'm looking forward to the review of the long-term management plan that's been discussed for this next financial year, as well as the strategic planning process, because I think both of those are a necessary update to moving forward with the decisions we'll make next year. I wanted to comment.
Thank you. Speaker for or against, Councillor Gregson.
I'm going to vote for it, but I'd just like to clarify a couple of items for the benefit of ratepayers. There's been a confusion with the medical levy. Medical levy is part of the fixed charge, so that fixed charge is $330 plus the medical levy. It makes it $420. And there's confusion that medical levy there, but that's within the budget now. And also, I'd like to encourage ratepayers, if they're not satisfied with their assessed annual value, is make an application to the Office of the Value General or a reassessment, but make sure you've got evidence why your assessed annual value should be either increased or decreased. I assume that it'd be a decrease. Just look around your particular area and find out what the rents are in your particular area. And if your assessed annual value is much higher than that, you've got a very good case of having that assessed annual value being reassessed by the Office of Value General. So I'd just like to clarify those couple of points for the ratepayers, and they can take it from there. But there's a bit of confusion with it. Thank you.
Very good points, Councillor Gregson. Deputy Mayor Simons?
I'll be supporting the budget today, but I'll just say I'm not in total agreement with being rating wise, and it's mainly due to the new valuations. We had an option of a 4.8% increase in our rates, and if that option had been accepted, we would have collecting about $120,000 less from ratepayers, which I would like to have seen under these circumstances and these conditions, but that is not what we're doing. I think the 120,000 extra we're getting probably ends up in unrestricted cash, and I think we need to look at that very carefully as a council, because at the moment I think that is actually too high. The Teo's suggested ideal amount for Glamorgan Spring Bay, $7.8 million, can be as low as 3.4. The ideal, of course, but this year's budget's forecasting us an unrestricted cash amount of $8.4 million. So I think, as Councillor Queenie said, we definitely need to review our long-term financial plan, and we need to do it very quickly because there is some discrepancies there. I would really like to thank the staff for all the work they've done. It's actually burdening with more work than they needed to have, I suspect. And also thank you to all the councillors. It's been a pretty involved set of debates. Well done to everyone.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And Speaker, Councillor Edwards?
No, I'd just like to agree with Deputy Mayor Simons. I too was happy with plan, but the lower plan. But I think through negotiation and discussion with the council officers who've done I'm not one to thank people for doing their job, but this time I will make an exception because they've gone above and beyond. In fairness, particularly Elise and Peter and Alex, we've driven them mad basically, but anyway, bless them, they'll survive. I think that the difference, as Deputy Mayor Simon said, the 120,000 difference, I'm supporting the 6%, but I would like to see the additional money not go into the piggy bank, but to go to a benefit for the ratepayers somewhere, be it a footpath somewhere or a playground or fixing some potholes. That's just I too think we're not in the community are not in the situation financially to be able to afford to take money out of their bank account and put it in the council's bank account. It's a different thing if it's being taken out to being used to fix something. But I also will be supporting the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Woods?
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I just reiterate what everyone else has sort of said about staff. I just want to sort of draw attention to the broader community about the officers' comments within our report. And it starts off with council is facing significant cost pressures from rising costs of goods and services during the past 12 months, much like any old household, sadly. Such cost increases are well above the City Consumer Price Index measures and are more closely represented by the construction industry indexes of 6 to 8% increase. And then further in the report, it said this budget does not include any recruitment of new expertise. Our regional location continues to make it extremely difficult to attract and retain skilled staff, and it is taken into account in the preparation of the budget. Recent changes to existing and new legislation, such as child and youth protection, the advert of psychological work health and safety, category, changes to the Fair Work Act, heavy vehicle chain of responsibility requirements and climate change adaptation grants demands for new expertise. These all place additional demands on existing staff to deliver the expanding obligations that accompany every service delivery and the management of a large workforce. Continuation of such trends without additional recruitment will put risk retaining existing staff. Staff turnover is ongoing risk and cost, which we've averaged recruitment times for staff at approximately 6 months. This is a real thing to everybody out there. You know, everyone likes it's a national sport to bad council. However, I don't like that happening. Our staff are valued members of our communities. And we have to be mindful when we're setting these budgets and things, you know, that we have to do, that we are mindful of our staff and what they are doing. So whilst, yes, everything's increasing, it's increasing here as well. So I am mindful of our staff. I'm mindful of our ratepayers. I'm mindful of everybody, but there's not a great deal we can do about it. It is a fact of life. And never, ever, since 2009 that I've had the privilege of being elected, ever have I had a fun time setting a budget. So with that said, Mayor, again, I congratulate everybody. I congratulate us councillors for actually sitting around nutting this out, not agreeing. You know, we don't have to, we can't agree all the time because we're all different people. That being said, I will be supporting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Councillor Churchill, as a mover of the motion, do you wish to close debate or should I put the motion?
I think you should put the motion. I think we've had enough discussion over the minutes to get to this point.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill. On that note, I will put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? The motion is carried 8-0. Thank you. Agenda item 2.2 is the rates resolution. There is a recommendation on page 21, Deputy Mayor.
I will move that in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government Act 1993, Council adopts the 2024-2025 rates and charges resolution as shown in this agenda item for rateable land within Council's municipal area for the period 1st July 2021 to the 30th of June 2025.
And I wonder if I could ask for a seconder, and I am going to acknowledge Councillor Woods because she did in fact try to move this motion.
Oh, no, it's all right.
I would like to.
I'd be happy, Councillor Woods.
So the seconder for this motion is Councillor Woods. Thank you.
I'm not going to argue.
Deputy Mayor, do you wish to speak?
Just other than to again thank the staff for the work they've done. Obviously, we've adjusted the AAVs cents in the dollar, and as you said previously, both motions are somewhat connected.
Deputy Mayor, can I just make a point? Apparently, at one point you may have said 2021.
2024?
Yes, 2024. Thank you. 2024.
Apologies.
Thank you. No other. If there are no other speakers, Councillor Woods.
I'd like to say something after.
Councillor Woods.
Yeah, thank you. So just for information purposes, setting the rates resolution was particularly difficult this year, given the valuations when they came in. We were told that it wasn't going to make any difference, but in actual fact it does. The last valuations done for this area was 2016 and released in 2017. So it's a good number of years since we've had a revaluation, and that's out of our control. So out of our control. However, that being said, you know, this affects me as well. It affects us all sitting around the table. So it's not something we really want to do, but it's what we've got to do. That being said, I will be supporting this motion today.
Councillor Young, you indicated.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. Just want to repeat that if we received even half the average untied grants from government that could be used to run the day-to-day operation of this council, no rate rise would be needed at all. That we receive $100,000 a year last year. Some councils receive well in excess of $1 million. Some councils right next to us receive very large sums of money, and we receive about a fifth of the next highest government grant. And I can't see why the government ought to cop it in the neck for this rate rise.
Because Councillor Churchill.
Yes, I did put it together a few words that I now feel I would like to use. Just to, I'll cover territory that's already been covered, I know, but I'm treating the rates resolution as being separate to the budget in what I have to say. But councillors have examined many and various formulas to get the fairest outcome with consideration to the current high cost of living pressures and the need to continue services required and expected by our community. As indicated in the report to this resolution, it is a lean budget. The rates are set as low as reasonably possible. Importantly, this year, all properties in this local government area have been revalued by the Office of the Valuer General. It's been many years since the valuations were done, as Councillor Woods just alluded to. And consequently, and as expected, there has been many large increases in these values. Council has lowered the cents in the dollar AAV charge across all 7 land use groups. The effect of this is to adjust the total revenue to that required to operate council and to efficiently provide services using the new valuations as must be done under legislation. Valuation by the Office of the Valuer General has the greatest impact on individual rate movements within each land use category. Valuations through the mechanism of the AAV determine the position of individual rate assessments within each group. The higher the valuation, the greater the proportion of the total rates to be apportioned to that assessment and vice versa. As Councillor Gregson has already alluded to, if you feel your valuations are unfairly high, then there is an avenue of appeal to the Office of the Valuer General. I personally feel that there are some situations and possible anomalies where such an appeal may be justified. Again, I thank Elise and the other directors for all the work they've done, for patiently presenting many rates models to Council for consideration and answering many questions over many hours of workshops to arrive at the resolution before us consideration today.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill. Councillor McQueen.
Yes, I'd just like to make a few quick comments to remind community about rates relief if they need it. So first of all, for those who may not be aware, there is a pensioner called remission. So people understand that doesn't mean council gets less money. It means the state government actually contributes an equivalent amount of a reduction back to council. So in taking that act, you're not, if you like, if you're a qualified and eligible pensioner, you're not reducing what council might need to consider. The other thing is I'm advised by staff that rates relief seeking that can be a contact with Elise or the General Manager, or it could be facilitated through a counsellor. And so some level of privacy is certainly maintained in that process if you would like to approach a counsellor to prosecute your case for rates reduction. And I'm also advised by staff that those sorts of requests are held singularly for the director and general manager. So they're not held in general council records for others to see. So I'd encourage people, if they are experiencing significant cost of living pressures that make it impossible to pay rates, that like with many organisations, they make those approaches, which will be treated clearly with respect by staff here or councils.
Thank you, councillor Finney. Very good point. Councillor Edwards, then councillor Gregson.
Just to reiterate what Councillor Young said, as all of us in this room feel, how we are completely done over by the financial assistance grants. Just so people have some idea, 22-23 in round figures, Glamorgan Spring Grey received 200,000. Our near neighbours in Southern Midlands received 1.9 million. Thurell received 1.3 million and Breakup Day 1.4 million. Now, when we go to the people who grant these who give us these grants, they say that's the formula. Well, fairly obviously, the formula is wrong, and it cannot just stay with the councillors and the council bleating about this constantly. We need every ratepayer to get on the blower to state and federal politicians and say this is wrong. It is so, and it's been like this for 10 years. This is why we have to put the rates up. This is why we have to run the tightest ship in the state. This is why our roads are now being maintained the standard they're at, but they can't be fixed. We can use this money for anything we want. And so it would benefit the whole community from Buckland to Bicheno, but we've been screwed out of it for 10 years. Please whinge. That's it.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you, councillor Edwards. Councillor Gregson.
I'd just like to say that the rates resolution is an integral part of the budget, so got to look at both basically. And the council and the executive, including we had a momentous time trying to come to this rates resolution over a number of workshops and differing ideas, as Councillor Wood pointed out. I'd just like to concur with all the tributes to the executive and the councillors. That this has been a hard kind of process, and it's been really considered very carefully. It's been very wonderful to be part of. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Gregson. Thank you. I will put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? 4 or against, councillor Gregson?
Oh, yes.
4, thank you. The motion is carried. 8-0. Thank you. Councillors, in closing the meeting, councillors have quite rightfully thanked the staff. I'd just like to extend my appreciation to the General Manager, the directors, the staff and the councillors for all the work that you have put into this particular rating, very difficult rating year with the revaluations. Thank you, everyone, for your input. On that note, I will now declare this special meeting of council closed at 12:38 p.m. Thank you. Thank you.